Hello, Noofs and Noofettes, and welcome to another video. I'm Mr. Evely. With me is Sisyup, who also goes by Ben when he's walking around the real world.
Yep.
We are going to be casting 3 series from Group D of IEM Katowice because due to some technical mishaps and in order to stay on schedule, they actually didn't televise or stream any of the 3 series that we're about to show to you. These are the first 3 series that were played in the group. And so we're going to give you guys some cast for them and also just generally show off what will promise to be some really cool series.
Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be some fun series, especially with players such as the ones we have. So why don't you go ahead and introduce our players, Ezra?
Yeah, sure. So in the top left, it's the Korean Terran. He's in the red. His name is Ryung, and he's playing against the craftiest, in my opinion, most fun player in the world, the blue Protoss. In the bottom right, his name is sOs.
Yes,
And
SOS.
for the sorry?
SOS, very fun player, known for all sorts of random strategies and styles, and so it'll be great to see what he decides to bring out this game.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Artosis, actually Tasteless, recently compared SOS to a jazz player. The reference being that jazz players have to improvise.
Yes.
A reference that Artosis did not get because he doesn't understand how music works at all. But I think it's an apt one. Basically, usually players have maps, builds mapped out in their heads, and SOS basically, his goal often is to destabilize the game enough that you have to kind of make decisions on the fly that you're not used to making.
Yeah, it's always a lot of players, or when you get into these situations where it's a weird game, typically, one player, the player who initiates the weirdness, is a lot more familiar with what's going on than the player who's dealing with it. And you see certain players like, known for their cheese, especially players like Haas or Printf or No Regret, for whom a lot of their styles, even though, what they do perhaps isn't optimal in theory, the people they play against, very rarely see that sort of style, whereas, they've played it 1,000 times, and that actually gives them a big advantage that can counteract any kind of theoretical or meta issues with their style.
Yeah, so it's almost like mentally they're like, okay, so I'm going to build the proxy hatch on X supply and then start my queen on X supply, and then from there I'll do this, this, and this, while the other player's like, oh shit, that's a proxy hatch.
Yeah.
Let me consider what to do. Let me just guess instead of having some super refined build to respond to it.
And while I think it's unlikely that SOS is going to go for a proxy hatch, I'm sure there's still going to be some interesting styles coming out from him.
Yeah, I don't. Although Ryung certainly would not be expecting a proxy.
That is for sure.
In this game, or for the rest of the series. But he's going to scout this Reaper. He's going to find, in fact, that the build looks relatively normal. Yep. There is no proxy hatch.
He does see the Stargate, so he knows that that's not proxied. Reaper tries and runs away from this Adept here. He's going to go look at the natural.
It's always weird playing against SOS because obviously he has the full range, but there's an element of like when you go into scout his base, what is he up to? What weirdness is there that I haven't identified? If I see everything as normal, what has gone wrong in my scouting because there's something weird happening?
Yep. So we do see 2 Adepts moving out across the map, shading out, and going to maybe get some scouting information, let SOS get an idea of what Ryung's going for, which we can see is a fairly standard style, getting out some reactive marines, some widow mines, and a medevac, and likely is going to look to drop some of those units into SOS's base. Oh, and so what we do see there, we missed it a bit on camera, but SOS actually was able to use the Adept Shade to trigger the widow mine without taking any damage, so that's a very nice little micro trick from SOS, who's also known for his micro abilities.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of neat tricks that, like, even if I sat there and stared at it for a while, would bungle it more often than not, but SOS is good enough that he can kind of just juggle it while he's also playing a game of Starcraft. This is pretty nasty for Ryung at the natural. He doesn't have enough Marines to fight off originally.
Looks like he's finally stabilizing, but he lost a bunch of Marines there and 3 SCVs. And
a mule.
Yeah, and a mule that I think was pretty healthy still. So that's gonna hurt. We now see let's see, this medevac. Okay, so we see 3 widow mines. So it's going to be a widow mine drop as the Oracle comes back in and gets another 2 SCVs, I believe, of damage. The total of 2 kills on it. So I guess the Adepts... Oh, no, that was the second Oracle. 6 kills on one Oracle and 2 on the other.
Yeah, SOS is totally hip to what Ryung is doing. In fact, he even follows the medevac with an Oracle, so Ryung's just going to turn right around. Ryung didn't know this, but if he had kept going, he would have just run straight into a Phoenix. Yep. Oh my gosh, he gets probably dead.
2 Phoenixes out now, actually. 2 Phoenixes and 2 Oracles, so a really heavy Stargate opening here from SOS, who's also built a proxy pylon. So I wonder what this pylon is going to be up to. Maybe just for scouting drops, but You know, this probe could proxy something else over here. Oh, looks like it's going to be a slow warp in of three stalkers. So he's going to put on some pressure here with these units.
Yeah, and he's building a third Phoenix too, which is interesting. So the goal, I think, is to lift the Widow Mines.
Yeah.
He's got a third base. It's pretty easy to hold the third base on backwater.
Well, he's not going to be able to... He doesn't have detection, though. So, oh, no, he does have detection. He's got oracles.
Yeah. So he'll reveal the Widow Mines and then lift them with the Phoenixes. He's actually not showing the Phoenixes, which is pretty clever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, huge stasis ward going on 2 SCVs. That's a joke, by the way, guys. He grabs one Widow Mine. Oh, he gets that one before it burrows. Oh, that is so annoying. Oh man, Ryung has really kind of been bopped this game. So he ran into basically an Oracle ran into his base, did a ton of damage when there weren't enough Marines, and then he tried to do a Widow Mine drop, which was immediately scouted
that Widow Mine gets revealed too, and so that's just dead. Yeah, SOS has just been really just destroying this entire defense, just taking these 5 stalkers and stutter stepping, one-shotting everything with that great unit control of his.
Yeah, SOS still actually hasn't even shown the Phoenixes. I'm not even sure where they are on the map.
You can see the units lost 425 for SOS and 1,800 for Ryung. Just such an incredible difference from this micro of SOS.
Yeah, pre-stim and conch shells, you can basically just micro Marines for days.
Did he lose the stalker? Yeah.
He might have lost one stalker. I was not paying attention. But even just holding him here is so annoying because Ryung can't take that third, and on backwater, like the third is almost it's almost free just because you don't actually have to cover any extra ground.
Yeah.
But because he has to devote so many resources to defending this, and oh man, those 2 Widow Mines are going to be revealed instantly if the Oracles go up there.
The Oracles look like they want to get some damage in. There is a missile turret, so they can't dive in on the SCVs, but they just take a quick peek, see that Ryung's got some decent production. We see 3 barracks. Double upgrades were going on. Now stim is done, and the Oracles just get pushed back a bit by the Marines over here.
Yeah, a quick subtle thing that while you're describing what's in Ryung's base, he actually flew right to the edge of the Widow Mines, and the Widow Mine locked onto one of the Oracles for half a second, but SOS is so good that he was so on top of things that he managed to micro it straight out while also doing all the things back home, which include grabbing +1 armor, which is about to finish. Oh, that third base for Ryung is just starting. That is brutal. Where are the Phoenixes? Because they could shut this drop down.
6 Phoenixes.
6 Phoenixes. He knows what
could go really badly. If these medevacs fly into these Phoenixes, then I think the game is basically over with already a big economic lead from SOS. Ryung has to do damage with this drop, and SOS has the right units, and they're in just the right place. This is looking to be really bad.
Holy cow. Yeah, he basically, I think, is saying, how can I lose this game? I can lose this game to a Doom drop that I don't handle well. Okay, how do I defend against that? I built 7 Phoenixes, and I just parked them outside my main base.
He's got +2 armor coming out, and the 8th Phoenix, rather. Okay. Oh, he's even got the pylon here. Okay, what does Ryung do?
Oh, is Ryung going to boost? Okay, no.
This is so bad.
One quick thing, I think that, so sometimes when the Terran sees that they've been scouted, by the way, this is just going to get slammed hard. Oh, the Oracles are coming in. Oh my god, the 8th Phoenix joins? This is brutal. But I think what SOS was trying to do with that pylon, because normally you would think, like, you don't want Ryung to know that you know, right? So you wouldn't build that pylon, and you just hold the Phoenixes there and pounce. But I think that he wanted Ryung to see the pylon, know that he was scouted, and say, all right, we're going to do this quickly, and then waste the boost.
Yeah, I wonder if that...
It didn't work out that way, but I think that was the plan.
I mean, he still shut down the whole thing, so it worked out pretty well.
Yeah. It worked out pretty well. Now he's picking up SCVs at the third, which has still not been saturated. He's got his army bearing down on this, which I think the ground army alone could win.
Not waiting for the these Phoenixes are going to take a big hit there. +2 not done yet, but as all these units come in, it's so many units from SOS. I don't know how Ryung can defend this.
Yep, all the Widow Mines have been cleared out at this point. There's 2 medevacs, which are going to be destroyed by the Phoenixes pretty quickly. Down to 1 medevac left. That force field actually kind of working against him with the Zealots, but it doesn't look like it matters. 1621 SCVs go down. The work account has been brutalized by Ryung. He really never got the third base up, and now he's just going to GG. Wow, that was an absolute bop. I hate to say it, but that was really rough.
Got to be painful for Ryung there. Those stalkers, just annoying to lose all those units of the stalkers. Then you have this desperation drop that just gets shut down as hard as it possibly could be.
So as we start map number 2, SOS with the 1-game lead. I'm curious about what SOS will bring, because that was a pretty standard game that he brought out for the last one. Obviously he had the the early pressure with the adepts.
I mean, there was a lot of air units though. That's kind of,
Yeah, but I think that was more an adaptation to the Widowmine drops. I think after he did enough damage with the stalkers, he basically just decided that he was gonna shut the Widowmine drops down as hard as possible.
Yeah, that was interesting. But I don't think, I'm not familiar with that the slow warp and 3-gate stalker build. I don't know if I've seen that before. Is that something that gets done?
I've never seen it before, but it could be one of those things that's super popular on ladder and create, and I'm just not aware of it. I remember. Do you remember the group, the four Protoss group round of 16 group where like they all were doing this weird 3-gate Phoenix all in?
Yeah.
All of a sudden that nobody had ever heard of before, and it was, I guess it's just like the build of the week on ladder. So it could have been one of those.
Ryung got it. So Ryung got a pretty early gas here. He got it before the barracks, so I wonder if he's actually going to go for a factory on one base here.
Yeah, he could. I guess, just from a mentality standpoint, I almost wonder if there's an element of like, fuck this series. I'm just gonna gamble on some kind of weird all-in, like a 2-1 or something, or the early conch shells or something like that.
Or cyclones.
See what
maybe
happens, and then move on.
Or
cyclones.
No, there's no second gas, so it won't be cyclones. So what do we see?
SOS meanwhile is just doing the normal stuff. He's got a gateway. He's got a nexus. He is being as annoying as possible at this natural.
Maybe it is normal. I don't know. I'm not a Terran expert, but the most common Reaper opening gets the gas after the barracks. But okay, so he just expanded. That's okay.
Yep, looks like it.
Now we look kind of silly. Well, I look kind of silly. You could have debated that, and then you would have looked really smart. We'd usually see the facts right now, but
yeah, but generally, Ben, debating you on anything isn't going to make me look very smart. So I'm playing the numbers game, and trying not to challenge you on too much. So he is going to grab the reactor and the factory, which is pretty normal.
Yep.
SOS getting the depths again. Probably going to plop down a Stargate after another probe or two. Actually, Twilight Council.
Ooh,
okay,
that's exciting.
That's exciting. So I would guess. Well, yeah. So it's going to be a depths.
Unless it's Dark Templar.
Unless it's Dark Templar, although he's still
Dark
building
Templar
more and more
as well.
depths. Oh, it totally is. What? SOS. SOS, Ryung can't see that you're walking that back now. You do know that, right? What is...
This was a great place to build a Dark Shrine, but...
Just based on the number of adepts that he was building, I would say that it would be a glaive.
Okay, I guess it's not a Dark Shrine. It was... He maybe he just... I don't know. Maybe it was like, keep the option open. Okay, now this is gonna
He's
get
got
seen.
it for proxies in the last game.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it might just be...
It is Dark Shrine.
Oh!
Wow, see, SOS is so good at mind games, he can even mind games the casters.
It's funny because StarCraft 2 is usually... The viewing experience is usually... the fun is built on dramatic irony, where we know things that the other player doesn't. But every once in a while, SOS decides to actually just break that even. And create a new kind of irony in which he is the only one aware of what will happen, even though we're watching every single thing that he's doing at any given time.
Yep. how can Ryung predict anything if we can't even predict everything and we see exactly what he's doing?
Yeah, seriously, if Ryung had complete access to SOS's camera and could see that probe in the bottom right, he would have been like, DT's down there. Amazing.
So let's see, but okay. So he's doing this. This is fun. He's going to warp in DTs into the natural over here. There's been a few maps that you can do this. I forget. There was one map a little while ago that I think was sort of the first map that really happened on in like maybe early Legacy beta or something. But I mean, there isn't a wall here, so it doesn't make a huge difference. And actually, Ryung is going to see this. So
he is going to see this.
He should know. He should know now to scan. Should be able to see this.
Because there's no other reason to have that pylon spot. Oh, is he going to get the pylon before the second DT finishes?
Oh, he scans?
It's going to... Oh, okay,
okay,
so that pylon will go down. That scan kind of, in terms...
Okay,
like,
so let's
basically
see. So
just...
there is still one scan. Okay, so... And now there's a turret done. Okay, so this DT's got shut down really hard. At least SOS sees this medevac coming in, so he'll be able to prepare for this with his stalker. He needs more than one stalker, but
he needs more than one stalker. Yes, it's always an awkward thing to hold unless you have stargates.
Yeah.
Or a stargate, and he does not have that.
Yeah.
So he puts the Robo Bay down. I'm hoping that's Disruptors because Disruptors are the coolest thing ever. I'm guessing it will be because he has Zealot legs one with it.
Yeah.
The Widow Mine's dropped.
Oh, this Widow Mine.
Oh, that could be big. Oh, no, okay.
Four
probes
still pretty good
is
for one
more
Widow
than you
Mine.
would like to give up
and
for that.
another two on the top.
Yeah, six probes on that drop was definitely a success. And SOS's Stalkers are now down at the natural. If this Liberator had come down, a few seconds earlier, it would have been better. Those two Dark Templar, you don't expect to do much damage, but as the army moves out, maybe he can actually get something done with this.
He might actually be able to stop this turret. Oh, he does.
That has got to be so frustrating. Oh my god. That's the kind of thing that you break a keyboard over.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a scan. He should be able to deal with this, and there's a big army moving across the map. 2 tanks and a bunch of Marines.
Yeah, the problem is that Stim's not going to finish. It's going to get canceled by the DTs on the tech lab. Oh man, he's furiously building more turrets. Meanwhile, this push, I mean, I'm not sure how else. Okay, this is a game that could get weird.
So that's how many scans, yeah.
That scan means that he can't scan back home, and there are no turrets back. There's one turret back home, I guess. Oh my gosh, he's surrounded the DTs. I love how weird this game has gotten. I'm not sure that SOS can hold this base. I think he probably just has to sack the natural.
Oh, it was a Colossus, by the way.
That Colossus will help, but man, the siege tanks should be able to zone out well enough.
Without Colossus range, he's going to have a real hard time using those against, 13 range siege tanks. Okay, so an SCV is actually here to build a turret. So if he can finish that turret, which is way more forward than it should be, that would help
which
a lot.
Is not going to finish. Oh my gosh, but the huge hits going down the Colossus, and it actually falls?
Oh, but these siege tanks are doing so much damage to the gateway units.
Yeah, I think that Ryung probably has this. He's dealt with the DTs back home, right?
There's still a DT.
Oh, no, actually, he has
but
not.
But there is a turret, so he's basically dealt with it. But there's no turret here. Okay, so now the Marines are going to all die.
This is an amazing game. I love it. So that siege tank is going to go down. SOS is going to save this natural because it's just the one Marine at this point. SOS is running all of his natural probes away from the one Marine for some reason.
Okay.
2 SCVs going back home from Ryung. I guess they were supposed to build turrets.
Yeah, probably or bunkers.
All right, where do you go from here? Does this game get weird again?
So Ryung is up 3 workers and an upgrade, although he doesn't have stim. So I think, but there is the Colossus tank. So I think probably Ryung is ahead here. But he's got, a bit of a better economy, especially with those mules. But it looks like, SOS is just going to try and build up that Colossus count. That's kind of his way. And he's going to keep dropping Dark Templar on the supply depot and maybe eventually kill it. He can't actually kill anything useful because there's turrets there. But I guess he can trade scans for continued... Nope, there he goes. He gets the supply depot.
Yeah, so SOS is down economy for sure. But he is up tech. He also doesn't have a forge, which is annoying because +1 attack is already finished for Ryung.
Yeah.
And he's going to have 1/1 before the forge finishes.
Yeah.
So in that sense, six SCVs are dying. Where are 6 SCVs dying?
Oh.
SOS is continuing to be weird somehow.
Wait, where did 6 SCVs die?
I have no idea where 6 SCVs died.
I'm really confused.
Did he sneak a DT back there somehow?
Maybe.
I have no idea. It doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter.
He must have run a DT over here, maybe?
Yes. So he's walking those all the way over from a proxy pylon way far away.
Yeah, down here.
Yeah. That's awesome. He's even hidden that... Oh, did he just recall that? I think he just recalled the DT in Ryung's natural.
Did he? I think he lost it.
Oh, maybe.
He's lost 6 DTs so far this game. Quite a number.
So he's going to push out, I guess. He's starting +1 attack now. He's got 2 Colossi with this push.
Yeah, I don't know. So the army supply is equal. There's 1 Colossus here and another one here. But 1/1 is done. Concussive shells, stim, all these units. And Ryung is just going to go for it.
Yeah, Ryung's going to go for it. This is a kind of an odd timing from SOS because he's down upgrades big time, but the tech for Ryung doesn't really exist. It's pure bio at this point.
And
so the 2 Colossi and the Archons are going to be pretty big. This has been an odd game. We're almost 10 minutes in, and neither player has even attempted to secure a third.
Yeah.
He's going to push up into this, so he's going to end up kind of sandwiched between two little clumps of bio, which means that He's basically all in with this.
But the focus fire now from the bio on the Colossus. Oh, but the micro, the Warp Prism micro to save the Colossi is so good from SOS
Yeah, he
here.
can micro the Colossi back, and actually, oh man, this is really close, but I think that the first Colossus, oh, it stays alive? Okay, so he's kept both the Colossi alive, but now there's a Viking, which will be able to clear out the Warp Prism.
Yeah.
And once the Warp Prism is gone, the Colossi can't be saved, and he can chase these home with the conch shells now. I think that Ryung is probably taking this game.
Yeah,
he can
he's so
chase his
far up
army
in
pretty
supply
far.
now. I mean, he's got the worker lead, the upgrade lead, the army size lead, and these Colossi are just too weak to be worthwhile.
SOS brings one stalker up to help support. Okay, there we go.
Incredible
keeping
micro
those Colossi
here,
alive somehow.
Colossus
All right,
dies.
finally one falls. That one is still alive, but the Warp Prism is going to go down, and so will the Colossus. Oh my gosh, he's got another one. But there's no way. The ball of bio is just going to keep coming. All that he has left is stalkers, this one Colossus, and the Colossus falls. That'll be GG for SOS. We're going to go into game 3 as Ryung takes game number 2. So as this game starts up, just a quick recap of the way the series has gone. Ben, can you slap on the score for us real quick?
It's there. Oh, no, it's not there.
We're sitting at 1-1 in this best of 3, so this is the deciding game. Just again, we're doing the series of first games in Group D, which were not streamed for Katowice because they had some technical issues and they wanted to stay on schedule, which totally makes sense. And so we're doing this Ryung SOS series, and then we're going to do 2 more after this. I actually don't remember who played each of the other 2,
Let's
but
see,
I guess we'll find out.
I think a Laser versus Hero Marine is one of the games that will be coming up, and I don't remember the third one off the top of my head.
Yeah, I'll pull that up. I'll pull that up real quick. But just describing the series, basically, Ryung tried to do a Widow Mine drop in the first game, and SOS had some early pressure with the depths and oracles, and he ended up kind of just slamming the whole Widow Mine drop immediately. He scouted it twice with the oracles, and then Ryung kind of just helplessly flailed until the game ended. And then the most recent game, SOS decided to fake us out by pretending to proxy a Dark Shrine on the bottom right, and then actually proxying one in his main base cleverly.
Yes. The last place you'd expect to see a proxy.
Yeah, right next to the main nexus. But those did very little damage. He had that clever little spot where you can warp in a DT into the natural with a pylon kind of like tucked into the corner at the third.
Although Ryung scouted the pylon and almost killed it fast enough, but just barely didn't.
So basically SOS has gone, he went very standard, and then, oh, you know what, Ben?
Yes?
He threw down a Zealot first, and I think that the Zealot's going to walk across the map and try to kill the SCV that's building the natural on the low ground, and then the Stalker's going to come up and join it, because this is SOS's favorite PvT build, and this map is short enough that he can pull it off.
Yeah, but is this Reaper going to find the Zealot? Because if it does, it can get a lot of damage on the way. It does find the Zealot. So
and you have to think that Ryung will know about this anyways.
Yeah,
because
you don't just randomly see Zealots walk across the map, unless you know with good reason. And now the Zealot, this is like when you do an early pool, and the Zealots see your Lings. So that at least the Stalker's going to be able to push it back, but that Zealot takes a ton of damage and does not, get to walk across the map and kill that SCV like he wanted to for sure.
Yeah, so the cool thing about this build is that even if it gets scouted by the Reaper, they still actually do have to react to it. So you've got a bunker going down in the natural for Ryung, and he's going to have to invest resources in defending what for SOS is almost a free push. Instead of getting the Adepts, he just gets the Zealot, he spends a Chrono Boost on it, and walks across the map.
Yeah, but we do see 2 Marines and a Reaper in the bunker done, so he won't take any, concrete damage from this. Just the cost of the bunker, essentially. And he does finish up the CC and should be able to upgrade that to an orbital momentarily.
Yep, and the transition from SOS is describing that Twilight Council and then the Robo Facility. The question here is whether he's going to proxy another Dark Shrine in his main base.
Yes.
I don't think that he has any probes or pylons out on the map.
No, he does not.
Ryung actually sneaks an SCV scout in there, so he's going to see everything before that gets finished out. So it looks like he's going to go for Blink. I would guess that this build is basically going to... The goal here is going to be to facilitate a third.
Yep.
Pretty common in PvT to send a few Blink Stalkers across and basically just form a concave at the bottom of the natural. Make sure you can get your third up way earlier and try to grab an economic.
And we did see actually in game 1, I believe, SOS doing a lot of damage with early Stalkers. And so this, I guess, will be a little later Stalkers, but we know SOS has very good Stalker control, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do with these early Blink Stalkers. We do see the Observer, so that will, well, this map is a little, not really going to be able to blink into the main.
No, there's a bunker at the natural.
In the days of 2014, was it?
Yep.
When all Protosses did was blink into Terran's mains.
Yep.
But, yeah, so the bunker here, probably Ryung will be able to defend, but as you said, the third base, with getting that map control from the Stalkers, SOS should have the opportunity to take this third base that the probe's already, well, was here, but decides to maybe have second thoughts. And it's going to be a lot harder for Ryung, too.
Another example of SOS just totally faking us out.
Yes.
I think he might have actually walked that back because of the Reaper.
Oh, maybe. But now the Reaper gets a full scout of the main, sees the Chronos on the
Reaper's
Twilight.
going to get a full scout.
Is he going to see the Robo? He might not see the Robo. Oh, actually, Widowmine drop. Okay, so he will see the Robo.
You will see the Robo, but I think you'd expect to see the Robo
Yeah.
here anyways.
But he should then have a pretty good idea of what's coming.
Yes, and also, it's a small thing, but SOS's probe, which is kind of just casually hanging out next to that natural nexus, you would never ever see unless he was running it back from a Reaper. So
Yeah.
Ryung should have a pretty good idea of what's happening.
Yeah, and we should note especially that while Blink Robo may be pretty meta, this is not what SOS has been doing so far with these heavy Stargate unit strategies. So it is a good scout to get, as Ryung also actually is able to grab that Observer. So that's nice. So SOS is not going to have that vision into the base anymore, and especially not having high ground vision with the Stalkers. I guess he's going to have to come in from this side then.
Yeah, he'll basically. I'm not sure that he'll be able to do anything at all. He can basically just park himself outside Ryung's base and make sure that the push isn't walking across the map.
Yep.
Because pre-stim or even post-stim, if they don't have enough Marauders, you can kind of kite Marines for a while with Blink Stalkers. But he's actually not even going to do that. He's basically just holding them. There's not a lot of opportunity for him to get much damage out of the map. Instead, he's going to drop probably some Zealots once this charge finishes. Is he going to warp in anything?
Ooh, a double drop coming out here
okay,
from
so
Ryung.
we're going to have another interesting situation where we've got people microing on both fronts.
We do see a third base drop down there.
Ryung finally gets that third base down.
Let's see. So the Blink Stalkers are not in the right position. They're down here by the third. And we see no Stalkers at all in the main where this double drop is going to come in. And this Warp Prism actually unsieges and comes into the main where plenty of units are waiting for it. So that's not going to do any damage at all. I guess it can try and do something in the natural, but it looks like SOS is getting shut down. And his Scout Probe is not going to see this either. I don't think.
No, SOS.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, this is brutal. Oh, did the medic
The scan.
around?
Oh,
no.
but there are actually some Stalkers in the main now. So
Okay.
he did get some Stalkers there in time to ward that off. That could have been very bad with how unscouted that was. If SOS hadn't had sort of the foresight to realize that he did need to defend the main.
Yeah, I think he probably walked in with the Warp Prism and saw not as much army as you would expect otherwise, and knew there had to be a drop out of map.
Yeah.
Knowing that he had it covered on the bottom, you could also warp in some Stalkers and make sure
for
everything
sure.
was all set.
So now we just see that retreat back to the base. Ryung doesn't get any damage, but doesn't lose anything either. So we sort of are just going to see this slowly move on. Oh, it's actually some... Oh, what killed those three? What killed those three?
I think it would have been Speedlets. Speedlets? Nobody
Maybe.
says that. Speed Zealots.
Yeah, I guess this must be what it was.
Yeah, SOS is going for double forge, which is pretty cool.
Oh, this is potentially...
Oh,
that's
man.
so bad.
The Warp Prism goes down. That's an inattentive thing.
Yeah.
That's rough.
No real excuse for that at this level. You really got to be looking at that. But
he's also probably fine.
Yeah, he's fine, but he loses a lot of map pressure. And Ryung now has his third, can start, building some SCVs. It looks like he might try a push out here. He does have Liberators now, which are obviously very good against just gateway units. And we see there are two Immortals. Any more Immortals? 3 Immortals in total. And he's going to have the Templar Archive soon, so he's going to be able to add some Archons. But he does have the Blink Stalkers. We'll have to see if he can deal with these Liberators.
Yeah, this is... SOS doesn't actually really need to fight. Oh my
almost
gosh.
loses an Immortal.
Okay. Had to sacrifice some Zealots there basically to save that Immortal.
Yeah.
SOS is down 1-1 right now, which is going to make this tricky. He does have the blink stalkers with the liberators, which is good. As long as he doesn't just blink himself
this
right
warp
into the
prism
mines. Oh,
is really flirting with danger here.
that's awesome.
Is that going to survive?
Oh man, it's going to make its way out, but
Very risky there. Oh, this is not an easy way to engage into these liberators down this very small ramp. It's going to be tricky for SOS to defend. And that 1-1 is pretty
where are
exposed
all
there.
of his
He needs to
blink
make sure to
stalkers?
defend it. They're there.
Oh,
They're
okay.
in the back.
His blink stalkers at the top. I see. Oh my gosh, he's actually going to go for it. This is pretty tough, but I guess if he can blink the stalkers around the liberators, this is a really tough concave for him to engage
he's
into.
lost all
But he
the
also has
zealots
a lot of
now.
bio. He needs to wait for those upgrades to finish before he goes back in.
Those are going to finish, thankfully, for
He's going to
SOS.
chrono boost him quick. Doesn't catch that. Oh,
Good blink there. Dodges the Widowmine
he almost
shot.
caught a Widow Mine before it burrowed, but he couldn't quite get it. That Warp Prism just gets beaten back immediately. This is an interesting position because Ryung doesn't really need to do damage, and it doesn't look like he can do damage. SOS might actually be able to... Oh,
those Widow Mines get a lot of damage.
Interesting blink backwards there. This is a really, really unfavorable concave
this
for
is
SOS.
so bad. It's just a meat grinder there. Protoss units just
I'm
all
shocked
die.
that he would move down there.
Yeah, this is not looking good for him at all. He's down a lot of supply now, 30 supply. And, Ryung's still got his 3 bases, happily muling this away. And he's just going to keep building these bio units and keep building up this liberator count is going to make it harder and harder for SOS to engage with only the army that he has. The upgrades, though, we should note, getting 2-2 against the 1-1 is going to give SOS some time in which his units are going to be quite powerful.
Yep, this is a better concave to engage from,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure that he has storms finished on those High Templar because they were warped in pretty recently.
Yeah.
He needs to make sure not to let that one kind of just hang out there in front. Is he going to sack this base? Oh my gosh, no, he'll move in right before it dies.
Oh, there is
so
storm.
he
Okay.
can drop a storm on the Liberator and do a decent amount of damage. All of these Liberators are going to be cleared out. I think this is a huge win for SOS.
Yeah, those
he can chase
storms.
these down with the charge lots. The Immortals can just kind of scuttle their way to the bio. He beats this off. He's starting a 4th base in that little pocket expansion.
Yep.
So economically, he'll be doing just fine for a little bit. And 2-2 is going to finish soon. Ryung, meanwhile, is actually foregoing the pocket expansion for a more open 4th. I like that spot. It makes it much more aggressive.
Yeah, with that
So
reinforcement
he can
path.
hold more of the map.
Okay, so we see a triple drop. So a really good defense there from SOS helps kind of equalize it with that tech advantage at least in the storms. And those liberators being clumped up makes it, they all 3 of them just got, killed by storms essentially. And so now we see,
SOS
this is really
way
bad.
on top of this. Oh my gosh, a full medevac went down? Oh no! Oh, that is a huge loss for Ryung. He's falling behind in supply for the first time all game. SOS has got to feel good about that. Now he can kind of step out. He just caught a ton of Ryung's army. So he's going to move out with his main army. So there are 4 Liberators here, which should be able to hold this position pretty comfortably. But you never know. Ryung confirming actually that 4th is up.
Gets the observer there, so
Yep.
no Big Brother right now.
Nope. No Big Brother at all. The Liberator is just unsieged for some reason. I wonder what that's about.
Maybe
I
to
wonder
be a
if
little more
Ryung might want to
conservative.
hold a position farther back. I wonder if he's... Okay. I was wondering if he was going to just give up that expansion. Which
Oh,
would
but
be
he
pretty
needs
rough for him.
to defend over here now. The 3rd base actually looks to be what SOS is going to attack. Big scary army here.
That supply depot is pretty cool because it's the only way that Ryung would be able to get here fast enough.
Yeah.
It's kind of like building a pylon out in the middle of the map.
Yep. Except this is a supply depot. The EMPs could be really good here if he chooses to do anything with those ghosts. Gets some units with EMPs, but not that many of them actually.
This is a
Needs
pretty
to-
tough spot to
Oh,
attack
he gets
into
both of the
for
High
SOS.
Templar with the EMPs. That's very good. And those have to get morphed into an Archon. Okay, so there's 2 more High Templar, so it looks like 2 storms in total.
Yep.
And I don't think there are any more EMPs right now. Oh, maybe 1. Is he going to get it? He misses. But actually, he's able to bait out both of the storms on the ghosts. Okay,
Yes.
so there's no
Okay,
storms
so
anymore.
that's really important, obviously, but and more important than what I'm
There's
about
also
to
Zealots
talk
in the
about.
main
But
that have killed 11 SCVs.
well, they haven't killed all 11 because SOS also blinked 3 stalkers to the right. It's just behind to attack
Big-
some
big
SCVs,
engage
which is
here.
really cute. Yeah, I'm surprised Ryung would attack from out from under the
And
Liberators. who was all
21
stuck there.
SCVs have gone down now. The SCVs,
Holy
he just
cow.
moved the SCVs into the Zealots. And it turns out the 2-2 Zealots are pretty good against SCVs. And he's now
Yeah,
going
and
to pick
actually,
off the SCVs
SOS
down
is
here.
finally starting 3-3, so I guess they're even on upgrades, except for I guess the shields is a minor.
Yeah.
is a minor advantage for SOS. SOS now pretty much has complete map control because Ryung kind of has to turtle with the Liberator.
Yeah.
And he has the ability to just sit here and corner boost 3-3. Once the 3-3 finishes, he'll have a pretty big window. Until then, though, it's going to be pretty tough for him to be able to find a spot to attack. Ryung, though, is picking up a lot of his army and he's moving to the north.
Yeah, that's 4 medevacs. It's a lot of units, and there's no vision over here for SOS. There's no units here except for one misrallied Immortal that's now going to get picked up. And SOS is just sitting out on the map. He might have to recall here to be able to defend this without losing his entire base.
There's no way really for SOS to know because he can't walk.
There's also, I don't think, enough energy to recall in the main.
Oh, this is really rough. So at the same time, SOS is gonna have to move into the third and try to do as much as he can. He'll blink under the Liberators and try to take those out. So he'll kill all the SCVs here, and he has so many Immortals. But in the main, Ryung is just going to tear everything apart. He's already killing the pylons. He's going to take down this one Robo.
He's going to take down that gateway. Oh, so now there's enough energy to recall. So he's going to get in there. And actually not that much tech does get killed out there by SOS. And he kills even a base over here. This base died, and 29 SCVs, bringing Ryung down to only 22. He does pick off +3 attacks, so that's good. But
SOS will be happy with that trade every day because Ryung didn't even take down the Robo. He focused on killing gateways for some reason. And it's actually going to be chased back now because SOS just has such a huge lead in army because Ryung has so much army back at his third.
Yeah.
SOS has a huge economic advantage. Look at the mineral collection rates for Ryung right now. It's like under 400. SOS meanwhile is coming along at 5 times that.
Yeah.
Really, the only saturated base for Ryung is that one planetary fortress. The way that shook out was
only
really
got 4
good for
SCVs
SOS.
here. I mean, he's only got 22 workers. He does, looks like, maybe drop some mules or get some workers mining, get back up to 1,800. Yeah, 3 mules down here are going to help out with that a lot. But, you know, as time goes on, with this, 5 bases from SOS, 58 workers, +3 restarted, SOS is just going to, grow so much faster than Ryung. And Ryung is, just down to building bio and medevacs. He's not going to have those high-tech Liberators, ranged Liberators, Ghosts that you need to defeat the late-game Protoss army.
Yeah, this kind of feels like a matter of time until SOS builds up enough of an army to just move across the map and win the game. He's got such an economic advantage. It looks like Ryung realizes what his situation is. He's just going to walk across the map for one last desperation move. See what he can do. I cannot imagine it working, but StarCraft is weird, and people sometimes move their entire armies. That's
the army
Ryung's
supply is
chance.
just about equal, so we shouldn't count him out too early. But I think the army composition is significantly superior. Oh, that storm already dealing so much damage to those units. Just 2 storms there.
Just in terms of tech and upgrades, and even this base is not that important for SOS. He's barely saturated at all. Ryung could take this base while SOS continues to build up from other bases, and SOS would be perfectly fine.
3 storms right in the same place. That's a very
Yeah, basically just on one Marauder and one Marine. So the engagement is actually going to finally start as Ryung stims forward. There's so many Immortals in the back of this army. There's 3 Archons. Looks like he's going to have to turn tail and run home, having done no economic damage.
He's got another 4 Templar sitting in that prism, by the way. If he needs any more. So those will be immune to EMP, and, maybe not. Ryung is not going to realize that immediately. Oh, are we going to see them drop? Well, maybe.
Oh man, SOS is basically just holding onto the trump card in that warp prism.
Now.
He's waiting for all the EMPs to be used, but I guess he should probably just drop them now. The fight's almost over anyways. Ryung GG's, SOS takes the series. That was a pretty interesting one.
It really looked like Ryung had a good shot at one point there. But SOS with that, I think with that 4 medevac drop into the main that just, he didn't actually kill anything with it, and meanwhile the Nexus just built up energy and eventually was able to recall and defend. I think that could have gone a lot differently if Ryung had gotten some proper damage out of that.
Yeah, it's tough though because the main at that point wasn't really mining, so he had a lot more to kill to make it worth it than SOS. So SOS was able to recall, stay up a base, and then eventually just crush Ryung's army to win the series. So right now on your screen we're putting up a link to I think Hero Marine and a laser, right? I don't know. We'll see. I could be very wrong. You're looking at it. It's another one from this group. Click it if you'd like to. Thank you for joining us, and have a good day.